Yo, people, welcome back to the channel. Hope everyone is doing well. First and foremost, just want to double check. Are we live? Yes, we are live. Sometimes I panic for no reason. Sometimes I panic for a reason. Sometimes I panic for no reason. But I think that was for no reason. Hope everyone is doing well. Smash up the likes if you're here. Let me know if you're here, guys. Why is the chat a bit quiet today? Enz is in the building. He says, and Enz is in the house as well. But he says, smash the like button, hit the like button. Big up, Grizz. Thank you very much. Let's add Mohammed back to the stream. Mohammed, you back, man? What's going on, bro?
I don't know what happened.
Everything all right? How you doing, man? You seem a bit dysfunctional, man. What's going on? In and out of the stream. What's going on? Like Liverpool's transfer committee right now, man. What's going on?
No, apart from football, literally this week has just been hectic for me. But you know what? I'm chilling now with the boys, and I'm about to talk about my favorite team in the world, so I can't complain. Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah. You're looking forward to the season? We haven't had a proper chance to chat much. Obviously, you've been busy, of course, but how are you going? We're literally, a few days away?
Yeah.
The first Arnie Slot press conference coming up on Friday. Official Premier League proper press conference coming up. How are you feeling just generally before we get into the chat?
Honestly, I think we're all in the same boat. I just can't wait for the football to start again. Like, it was nice having the Euros, but like proper Premier League club football playing again every weekend, it's just so much better. And especially when the Reds are playing. I'm excited for this new season. I'm excited to see these. We've got an amazing team. We've got an amazing squad. Apart from what's happened with the transfers and whatnot this summer, let's not forget we've got some superstars in our team. So I'm looking forward to seeing them play. I'm looking forward to see what Arne Slot's ideas are and how he's going to implement them in the Premier League. It should be good. It should be fun. First game against Ipswich. I think we've got a decent run. The first few games are quite good as well. Ipswich, then I think it's it.
Brentford at home, United away.
That's the killer.
I don't want to jinx us, but yeah. I
Stop
think
right there.
I'm going to stop right there. I'm not going to say no more.
Stop right there. We'll talk about it in the week that leading up to it.
Yeah. We'll talk because we never know what can happen. Even Ipswich could be a very difficult game. Newly promoted team, and obviously it's going to be at Portman Road. It's going to be away from home, so the crowd's going to be jumping. They have been in the Premier League for 20 plus years, so that's not an easy game. But do you know what? I'm so excited to roll on Saturday.
Aaron, welcome to the channel, making your debut. How's everything? How's your feelings going into the season? And how you doing?
I'm well. Pleasure to be here. So thank you for having me. I think I said on a previous chat when I'm optimistic about this year because I like the way that ideas have been implemented, or the signs are there that the ideas are being implemented. So I'm optimistic in that front. Everyone was on a little bit of a downer with the Zubi deal, of course. Well, yeah, we all want new players, but exactly what my fellow fan said here. We've got some great players, and we did what we did last year. I like the way we play football. Well, not that said that I didn't love the way we played under Klopp, but I really like this kind of control and death by passing and possession and so forth. And we've got some really technical, great players. Also, just watching Trent against Sevilla, he's one of my favorite. So absolutely, like just the way he was pinging the balls through and things like that. It's just, so you know what? I think sometimes we take it for granted just how ridiculously good that player is and how good he is with the ball. Outstanding.
So, I often say it's because we've normalized, not only us. Everyone's normalized his passing, and it's not normal, because if it was normal, everyone would be doing it. Every fullback would be doing it. Every midfielder would be doing it. Only the elitist of elites, I'm talking Kevin De Bruyne levels, can do this range of passing, the Cruises of this world, and I'm not overreacting. He's on that level, but we'll discuss Trent, we'll discuss contract issues, we'll discuss everything. I want to welcome a special guest to the show, Michael Lisa. Talk to me, Mike. What are you saying, man? Thank you for taking time out of your time you just finished the European. Is it the European the Olympics?
Just had training, man. Just had training, to be fair. First day at Bayern. Appreciate it, Grizz, man. Appreciate the invite. Looking forward to the conversation, man. The season. I'm so happy Liverpool are back, because I was getting bored and it's getting stagnant. It's just I can't be bothered to keep looking at transfers, and I just want to see my team run around and score some beautiful goals like the one that Jota scored the other day. So yeah.
It is, isn't it? It's we have always when it's the transfer window, it's just everyone's focused on incomings, and sometimes we forget. And obviously, like Aaron said, we all want incomings. There's no one on this panel, there's no one in the chat, I'm 100% certain, that doesn't want incomings. But sometimes we let it get on top of us in terms of we forget the overall picture and we forget about what we have. And that's very important. Like Mohammed, we've got a very good squad going into this season. Yes, there is a couple of deficiencies where we will get into, but overall it's a healthy squad, man. And it's a new manager, new tactics, new style of play, like we've all been referring to, death by football, wherever you want to call passes or whatever. We heard it with Brendan, but this guy looks a cut above Brendan Rodgers, is fair to say.
Brendan Rodgers, you said.
Yeah.
That's me back a little. I was thinking, oh God, don't remind me of him. But yeah, no, you're 100% spot on, Grizz. Look, every single football fan across the world enjoys new signings. You know, the adrenaline rush that you get when we sign a new player and he's taking his pictures, his first day training, his first game, everything about it is amazing. But let's not forget how good this team actually is. And I was on the call a couple of days or weeks ago, and I talked about the depth that we actually have in a lot of positions. So, and Arne Slot's also announced to him in the previous game against Sevilla at Anfield, he said it's very difficult to upgrade the squad, because that's the truth. It is quite difficult to upgrade the squad. There is some positions out as we've previously spoke about in past calls. DM is probably a position that we can upgrade on. Obviously, the Zubimendi deal never went through. It is what it is. But even still on the market, I don't know who's available. But that's not really our job at the same time. I'm drifted away a little bit, but going back to the actual team, the team's fantastic. Let's get behind these boys. Last season, they did a fantastic job. We tailed off towards the end. Obviously, there was a few factors around that, the injuries, fatigue, a few factors. But hopefully this season, with the new ideas that Slot has, hopefully we can be lucky with injuries as well. Maybe if we can get a full season of Jota, that would just be magical. Who knows what could happen? I'm optimistic for this season. I'm looking forward to this season. If we get new players in, great, exciting, fantastic. If we don't, then all we can do as fans is support the players that are wearing that crest. And
Mike Das, who's a notorious caller in the call-in show, says that's a flat-out lie. The 9, the left wing, the DM, centre-back, literally everywhere. Mike, I want you to name me a team in world football that can't improve.
No, but I have to go back to Mike about that one. So the 9, personally,
I just find that such a very disingenuous comment. Like, yeah, we can literally prove. Every team in world football, barring Man City, will say we can't. Madrid, will say we can't improve on a Valverde. We can't improve on a Tchouaméni. We can't improve on Mbappe. Every other team is looking to improve or would want to improve. Do you get it? That's just a wayward comment. Like, we could. That's a lie.
Also, to add to that as well, there quickly, in terms of the two teams that we need to surpass this season, they haven't. Obviously, Arsenal bought Calafiori. That's about it. They're defensively strong anyway, so that's not improved them at all. It's just maybe a substitution error there. They need to improve their attacking. That's why it cost them a few games. Man City hasn't done any real business in terms of they got one player in, but he's more for the future. So the two teams that's ahead of us really haven't improved or got any better that we're thinking we're going to fall miles behind these two. Unless they go out there now and Arsenal go and get, I don't know, a striker, a top-class striker, maybe another midfielder, then you can go, okay, that's now stretched them a bit further ahead of us. Man City go out there and they've even lost Alvarez already, so that's making them weaker. So to say, yeah, we have got a good team. Can we improve? Of course we can. But
of course we can.
Yeah,
but see, the thing is, people forget that line. Look what I said at the start. I said there is no doubt every single person that supports Liverpool wants improvements. But to suggest, everyone can be replaced barring Salah and the usual suspects, it's disingenuous.
And we've seen it happen before.
United, I think the worst. City probably think, yeah, we can improve on certain players in their squad. Arsenal definitely looking to improve on certain players in their squad. That's without saying. It's not FIFA. You don't just go on your team, pick your team, and say, "Yeah, all right, I'm going to improve on that. I'm going to improve on that." But football doesn't work like that. Football isn't linear like that. That's just childish talk, in my opinion. But each to their own. Everyone's allowed their opinion, and it is what it is. Aaron, I want to come to you because people, of course, are saying, "Wow." I tweeted tongue in cheek slightly, but obviously some people take it seriously. Like, it looks like we may have profit at the end of this window at the rate we're going. We have sold Carvalho for 22 million plus 5 million add-ons. We have today agreed a fee with Salzburg. Paul Joyce is reporting. How do I do this? Paul Joyce has reported Liverpool have agreed with Salzburg for Bobby Clark, 10 million price met with a 17.5% sell-on. How do you feel about the Carvalho sale, and how do you feel about the Bobby Clark sale now?
I'm split, actually,
Okay.
because in the sense that with Carvalho, when he came from Fulham and he had that season, and I was like, oh wow, this kid looks like awesome, but then he didn't really hit the ground running with us, and it was sometimes right player, wrong club, and it might well have just been that for him. We bought a player that didn't technically suit our system. So if you go back a little bit further and think about how we are run as a club, and it's not everyone's ideal way of being run by a club. I'm not a FSG in or I'm not a FSG out, and that's a whole nother topic which I don't want to dive into. But you also have to respect where we came from and what they do and the business model of what we are as a club and who our owners are. So getting players in like the Bobby Clarks, like the Carvalhos, there is the chance that they are going to be sold. And let's be honest, for Carvalho, that's a great fee. And I think with Bobby Clark, as much as I liked him and I think he did an absolutely fantastic job for us when called upon last season, that's not bad again. And he's going, and then that's Pep Linda's team as well, correct? If that's so he's going to somebody that knows him, that can nurture him, that can get him back to where it is. There's a sell-on fee if he becomes any better than
And a buyback clause.
And that's the key. I was going to come on to that one last because I think that's the key. If we start getting into this territory of using our academy for money and profit, I know that's not everyone's tick box, but ultimately you need to get maybe 2 or 3 or 4 really good ones through. The rest are going to have to be sold or let go.
No, I think I don't know why you're saying that timidly. I think it's absolutely the purpose of an academy. How often do you find a Steven Gerrard from the academy? Very rarely. If you find 2 Steven Gerrards in a space of 5 to 10 years, your academy has repaid you. The other purpose of the academy is to make money. Let's not beat around the bush, guys. There's 2 purposes of having an academy: bring through gems or make money. Hence, I've been told you're a bit of a coach, but a shit FIFA player. Cav tells me.
That's a lie. It's fine.
That's a lie. No problem. We'll have to get a game going very soon to work that out. But Aaron says he's very okay with the Carvalho deal. He's a little bit okay with the Bobby Clark deal, but overall he's fine with it. Where are you standing on the 2 deals so far?
Do you know what? With the Carvalho one, I wished he got given the opportunity, but I also understand the reasons why. He kept coming out and saying he's a 10, he wants to play in the 10. It's just like, bro, at the moment, we don't play with an actual out-and-out 10. Just find a place in the team, put your head down, get to work, and then maybe you get the opportunity. I feel like him keep speaking on it and talking about it, and then like Aaron said, it's the right player just at the wrong time. We've got so many new midfielders, so many young age midfielders. You've got your Gravenberch, you've got Sobosai. They're still very, very young. Callister, still very, very young. For him to then find a space in that, it's going to be difficult. You've got Elliott, he's had a season where he's done really well. Jones, you'd say start of the season was good, back end of the season wasn't. So it was so difficult for Carvalho to come in and kind of stake a claim. And then Clark, I think it's good business. I think it's not the right time for him, but I like that we, correct me if I'm wrong, we've got first refusal on him as well. Yeah. So I feel like that's good business. You're sending him to someone that knows him very well in Linda's, and he's going to coach him and get the best out of him. And then maybe in the next, 3 years, you can maybe assess it and go, okay, he's made a name for himself around Europe. Can we go back in and go and pick him up? And especially we put that, I don't know if we kind of love this 17.5% sell-on clause. So even if it doesn't work out that way, at least if he goes somewhere else, we can get a nice chunk of money. But I'm okay with it. The Carvalho one, I wish he had the opportunity, but I get why. It's not the right time for him.
No, I hear you. I hear you. When Carvalho was signed, I was one of those guys that thought, oh, wow, 5 to 7 million. And it's a win-win scenario. Like, there's no way we're going to sell him for less, but he could turn out to be a gem. Now, obviously, we didn't play with a 10 under Klopp, but we do kind of play with a 10 under Slot so far. It's very evidently 4-2-3-1. So I hear you, but the moment he didn't play a minute in pre-season in that 10, it was over for him. We've got a super chat, first one of the night. Guys, 350 of you guys in here. Hope to have 100 likes already. If not, fix up. Do something. Do something with your lives. Come on, be positive. Donny LFC, appreciate the support. He says, seriously, if we get anything near injuries we had last year, this could get back quick being in Chameleons League. Edwards hype over. Champions League. Okay. Donny, you've had a mare like me in it with spelling and whatnot, but we hear you. Mohammed, I'm sure you know what he means. That's with every team, right? Every team needs a bit of luck when it comes to injuries, Ends, you know what, you've WhatsApped me those 2 lineups. Is there any how you can share the screen, and I'll share it for you if you can bring that person. If you can,
big up to Cav because he's the one that kind of sorted it out.
If you can, because I can't load up my WhatsApp on there. But if you can, I'll share it with you if you don't. Mohammed, yeah, look, we need luck with injuries, of course. But I think, and hopefully if we can get those squads up, I think we've got a healthy enough squad. Now, obviously, there are glaring, or to most of us, there is glaring positions, 1 or 2, that can most certainly be improved on. But, we're in a healthy state. Jurgen Klopp hasn't left us in a bad state, right? It's quite a healthy state to move forward.
It is a healthy state to move forward, and we do have a very good squad. But let's bear in mind, we are missing something really massive, and that's Jurgen Klopp. Like, Jurgen Klopp's probably the greatest manager we've ever had, without a doubt. So it's a big task for Arne Slot to step into those shoes. He's got the same squad. It is a good squad. A lot of world-class players in that team. Obviously, you've already mentioned there is some glaring positions that we could potentially upgrade in. If we do, fantastic. If we don't, I feel like we just got to, roll with the punches and just see what happens, to be fair. Slot has impressed us so far during the preseason. And he's impressed us. I've only watched the United game and the Sevilla game. And in both games, I was very impressed with the football that we was playing. But it's also early days for Slot. When teams start to realize what his tactics are and how he wants to play football and his ideas, and they start clocking onto these things and they start adapting to these tactics that Slot is implementing for Liverpool, then is the real question of, is Arne Slot a really elite manager or elite head coach or not? Because then he needs to adapt, change his tactics, be able to roll with the punches. And for example, one of the key moves that I've seen a lot is that ball from the goalkeeper to the striker. He nods it down to the 10, and then there's the winger overlapping, just going forwards, and then there's usually a tap. And we scored two of them against Sevilla, and I'm sure we scored one of them against United. It's only a matter of time before teams start to clock on how to stop those kind of movements. And it does look like it looks like a go-to movement for us at the moment. And the other things that we're trying to implement as well. So I think we will have a good start because it's new, it's fresh, but it's going to be, the determining factor will be during the season, how he implements changes. A similar scenario would be like with Ange at Tottenham last season. He came in to Tottenham, implemented a completely new style that hasn't been seen at Tottenham for years. They were flying. At one point, they were like top 3 or something, I think, by Christmas. And then after that, team started to click on how he was playing, the extremely high line, and they just started utilizing different tactics, and Ange wasn't adaptable enough, and eventually they just started to fade. Those things will happen to Liverpool this season. It's just a matter of fact. When other teams and other managers start to realize how he's playing, we'll see how he gets on. He's got an amazing squad to work with, a deep squad as well. And we've got so many midfielders. We've got 5 attackers that we can pick from. We've got a multitude of different defenders as well. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm just bring on the new season. Honestly, I can't wait.
Someone who's not very excited or isn't looking forward to the season too much is Mike Das. He's insisting that it's all doom and gloom, and to sort of make sure we feel the doom and gloom. He's sending a super chat. So big up Mike, of course. I love arguing with Mike. He just refuses to see any positivity today's show. He says 3-7-2 versus the top 6 last season. 16 points out of 36. Title challenges, quote unquote. No shot. Our depth are children. We have weakened, plus more games. Need players, period. Mike, send in another super chat because I feel like taking another $5 from you. Can you tell me who said we don't need players? If you can find anyone in the chat or on the panel that said no new players are needed, I will refund you double. Send another $5 to quote anyone who said we don't need players. Guys, don't let me down. Hope none of you lot said we don't need any players because then I'm going to be out of pocket because Mike's on a roll. We all said we need players, but we all said we have got good players. We all know we finished above the likes of Crystal Palace who are being lauded, Aston Villa are being lauded, Chelsea are being lauded, Man United are being lauded, Newcastle are being lauded. The only teams that finished above us are Arsenal and Man City. Arsenal are in their golden period, Arsenal fans are telling us. They're back. They have got Saliba. They have got Nelly. They've got Saka, Golden Boy Saka. They've got Declan Rice, best team in the world. These are the only 2 teams that have finished above us in God knows how many years, guys. Okay, we finished 2000, so to say like it's all doom and gloom, Mike, and whatever, look, I appreciate and I get your opinion and I get it. You're not looking forward to the season, but I am. I'm loving it. I can't wait. I can't wait to support my team, whoever that is. I want to bring up sort of our squad depth because Mike suggests that we haven't got squad depth.
I can flip between the 2.
I guess if we were playing, I come to you, Aaron.
Yep.
Would this be your starting lineup on, let's say, against Ipswich? And if not, was there any changes that you'd make to this, looking at this lineup?
No, I think that's about right. You could make a slight argument that you might put Szoboszlai as next to Gravenberch and play Harvey Elliott just because he's been exceptional at a 10. But you're talking semantics. I think that's pretty much your team for Ipswich away, and I think that's the right team. Seems like the most senior team that we can put together. And looking at the games that were played, especially on the weekend, these are the guys that you would say look the fittest as well. Bar Harvey Elliott, because I think he's been brilliant this preseason.
I was going to say, has Harvey Elliott not done enough to have a starting lineup in preseason? And the other one I wanted to ask, all of your opinions, we're going to go around asking everyone, is Tsimikas at left back. Has Robertson's only played a half of football, hasn't he? Or did he play he played the second game, didn't he? Tsimikas has been an ever-present in preseason and by all accounts has done okay. I think I agree. The rest of the team picks itself. But what do you think about those two, Elliott and Tsimikas? Do you not think they've done enough?
Just to give a bit of clarity behind it. So big up to Kav because he's the one who created this. It was just to show we had depth. So you can start.
Oh, we're going to come there. Yeah, we're going to come there.
And but it's just to show that we've got depth. So you can start. I think Tsimikas should start the first game. I think he's been brilliant, to be fair.
You think Tsimikas should start the first game?
I think he should start.
Yeah.
Start 100%.
What do you think? Go on, Aaron. You want to come in?
Yeah, I think Robbo's so reliable. You just know what you're getting, and with the change of way that we're playing, those little partnerships, the Van Dijk and Robertson one, that second nature of playing with each other for so long, or just knowing where each other are all the time. I think those things are really important as well, especially now that we've got this midfield 3 that didn't really play that much together previously, and there's going to be a lot more reliance on them as well. So I think sometimes, like last season, as much as I love Konate, Kwanzaa was with Van Dijk, and that partnership's there. Same thing could be said for Trent and Kwanzaa as well. I think at the back, to have that as your core group, is they played with each other so many times, they should be able to handle that point of the new team coming up for the first game and having that extra bunch, because they're going to be all over everyone.
I wanted to come to Mohammed. I wanted to ask you one of the key differences in roles and positions that it looks like a player's going to have this season, and that's Ryan Gravenberch. I don't think we're going to set up in a 4-3-3 like we've been setting up in a 4-2-3-1. Actually, Johnny says, Grizz Khan sub, you love FSG, so I ain't taking you seriously. Okay. I don't take you seriously with a name like Johnny John. Like, why not give me your real name first and foremost and fix your spelling, son? And yeah, where have I said I love FSG? Like, any more childish comments, I'll just block you. I'm not one of these guys that's looking for, going to be nice to you just because you're, on my channel. If you're a prick, I'll block you like I do on my social media. I go to another channel where they entertain dickheads. I don't entertain dickheads. Ryan Gravenberch.
Yeah.
He's been playing in a DM or in a 2. I'm not comfortable with this. I think he's a wonderful technician. I think he's got the touch. I think he's got the ability to take the ball on the half turn. I just don't think he's got the attributes that I'd want in my DM. Yeah. Obviously, Slot has taken a liking to him. Are you comfortable with Ryan Gravenberch playing in that role?
It's the problem area that is on all our tongues, the DM position, where Ryan Gravenberch will play. But the 2 preseason games that I've watched, personally think that Ryan Gravenberch was probably man of the match. He was incredible in both those games. And if we can rewind to last season when we was linked to Ryan Gravenberch, one of the discussions that was going around was whether he could play that DM position. A lot of people thinking potentially he can play that position. He's got the height. He's quite an imposing figure. But when we've seen him play for Liverpool, he didn't really look like he would be the type. I do have concerns as well as the season goes on, whether he's the option, he's the solution, for that DM position. But going off the previous 2 games against Sevilla and United that I watched in pre-season, and I know it's just pre-season, so you got to take it with a pinch of salt. But going off those 2 games, I think he played really well. And I think Slot must really like him because as soon as he was available for pre-season, he went straight in and Curtis Jones wasn't there. And personally, I thought Curtis Jones was nailed on to start against Ipswich. I thought he was going to be one of the first names on the team sheet. So now that we're having this discussion, I didn't even think about Ryan Gravenberch being in that position. I was thinking,
I agree with you.
I'm sure that where does Ryan Gravenberch even fit into this team now with Slot? We were very concerned with Ryan Gravenberch and how he fits into the squad, the team. But now it looks like Slot has an idea for this guy. And if he plays the way he played against in pre-season in the Premier League, I'm going to say it, but this time next year, we might not even be having that discussion about a 6 anymore. He could be that 6, potentially. Don't shoot me. But I'm just saying, he could potentially be a solution. We never know. But the verdict's still out. We'll have to wait and see in the season. If we get a 6 before the transfer window closes, perfect, happy days. I'm going to be buzzing because that's the position that we need. I'm just speaking hypothetically. If we don't get that 6 and it is Ryan Gravenberch that we're going to use for the season, and he works out well for us.
But Enz, I want to come to you. The crucial key part, I think, and we're about to discuss it now, is that Gravenberch is not going to play on his own on his own 6, is it, Enz?
No.
The way Slot's setting up is with 2 in there. And that 2, at the moment, it seems, it might be Curtis Jones starting on Saturday. We don't know. We're just thinking, I think it might be Curtis Jones, actually. It's going to be Curtis Jones or Grav, right? Are you comfortable with either of them in a double pivot? Because that's the key, Enz, isn't it? It's not going to be a 4-3-3 like our Cavs put up there. It's going to be a 4-2-3-1. What are you saying?
Do me a favor. If you can click on the other one, I'll show it up so I can
yeah, give me 1 second.
Sorry, now the next one, the live one I've got. Let me remove. There we go. So just to kind of give you the example. So obviously he's going to be in here with your McAllister, and then you've got Sobbo will probably be the floating 10, as you'd like to say. Who would I prefer in there? I think Gravenberch has been the most settled one. I've seen a couple of games from Curtis Jones, and there's a few moments, I don't know if it's lapse of concentration, whether it's a loose touch or whatever it may be, but there's a few blind passes I've seen him play. And I'm like, oh, a better team could have punished us in those little moments. I think he holds on to it sometimes for a bit too long, but the 2 games I've seen from Gravenberch in there, listen, he's not a natural, you'd say, number 6.
No.
terms of what we want. But I could see that with the balance of having McAllister and having a powerful runner like a Szoboszlai, it could work. He received the ball a lot on the half turn, and then he just kept moving it really quickly and really sharply. He wasn't like putting his foot on it, picking his head up, and by then the pass could have gone. So I think to start the season, I think I'll go with him. I think he suits the role a bit more until we, I don't know, go out there and find
hopefully
a player for that position. But if I had to choose between him and Curtis, from what I've seen, I think he just gets the nod. And it's just because of those little things from Curtis, holding on to it for a bit too long. And the few times I've seen that little ball round, I don't know why he does it, just that little ball round the corner, but there's no one there. Maybe he's expecting someone to there based on the system, playing style, but you can't do that in the Premier League. You'll get punished. And we haven't been punished in pre-season because of that. But at this moment now, we concede goals, we could lose games, and that's 3 points instead of in our pre-season game where even if you win or lose, doesn't really mean anything at the end of the day.
No, I hear you. And you make some very valid points on that with regards to Curtis Jones, because you're right. Even though he did play there for the under-21s England that actually went on to win the European under-21 European Championships. I think, who was he playing alongside, guys? He was playing alongside Angel Gomez, ex-Man United, right? In a double pivot. So he has played there. Aaron, you wanted to come in on something?
Yeah, I think with the Gravenberch thing, I think Enz summarised that perfectly with difference between Jones and Gravenberch. But actually, it shouldn't really come too much as a surprise for us, because when Gravenberch played against us for Ajax, wasn't it him and Frankie de Jong as a double pivot? And I remember watching Gravenberch in that game, and I was thinking, crikey, this kid's a player. So when we actually bought him, I was like, wow. I remember being in the ground and just looking at the ground that he actually covered. If we can get that version of Gravenberch into this team, with Maka, the way he can control a game as well, I think you really have a basis of doing exactly what Arne Slot wants you to do.
He has.
He's
got the natural physique of it. He's 6'2", is he? He's graceful. What does he lack, Mohammed? What does he lack? Because there is something lacking. Let's not make him out to be the perfect player. He's not. There is something lacking. I described some of his attributes. Positive attributes as negative attributes. I want to hear everyone else's, because everyone's got a different opinion, and it's all about having different opinions on what we think. For him to be Slot's midfielder in that position, what do you think he's lacking, in your opinion?
That's the thing. We still don't know what that Slot midfielder looks like. But from what I've seen from last season, personally, I think he's just lacking that little bit of tenacity. Like that. Yeah, he's lacking that bit of tenacity. He doesn't. Even though he is 6'2" and he's a big lad on the pitch, he doesn't really have that presence. And it's the Premier League. You need to have that presence. You need to have that bit of tenacity. I think that's what's lacking with Ryan Gravenberch. But as we've stated already, he's going to be playing in a double pivot in that position. McAllister next to him, I think it could work. The lads have made excellent points as well in regards to the differential between him and Curtis Jones. But I feel like they're two very similar players, personally. Very, very similar.
You mean McAllister and Gravenberch, or Curtis Jones and...
Yeah, Jones and Gravenberch.
A couple of super chats that I wanted to get through. We'll come back to this caption before we get to, because they're related. Or actually, Delwyn Johnson's a generous super chat. Always support the channel. Always supporting the channel, Delwyn. Big up yourself. He says, how would you rate this window if we get Mamardashvili? Just testing if you guys are concentrating. I'm just checking if you guys are concentrating. And it's good to know that you're all on point. Big up. Future goalkeeper replacement for Ali in a few years is excellent and smart signing. Gordon Duath or Andre for 6 role. I know we have interest in Gordon Duath. I tweeted it a few weeks ago from Salzburg as well. So maybe there is something we can do there. We've done them a favor. Maybe Pep Linders does a favor. I don't know. Let's see. Bastoni or Lokeba at left centre back would make a statement. My God, that would be. Bastoni would be some statement. They'll win. And Diaz to stay. Let's just get everyone's opinion on if this was your window. Aaron, start with you.
Yeah, I think there's been a lot of chat around Diaz and him potentially going. I think the only thing that I love Diaz first and foremost. Let me make that clear. The only thing that's a bit annoying is his dad keep coming out every 2 weeks and saying it'd be lovely to play for Barcelona. I think that chat needs to stop at some point. He could probably do more in terms of end product, because I think the biggest problem for Diaz is his predecessor was Mane, and he was ruthlessly efficient. As good as he was with everything that he'd done, his efficiency was right up there for most of the years that he was with us. Mamardashvili, if you look at him, and I'm probably like most fans, I only seen him mostly in the Euros, in the tournament in the summer. He looked bloody good. He looked really good. That stature as well. Like, the one thing you always notice about Ali, especially when he's like walking out on Anfield, always just feeling it. He feels the goal. He's just a big unit of a person. Getting someone like that and looking how agile he looks like he can be, that's going to be a great signing for us. And yeah, with the sixes that I mentioned there, both of them are quality. And then Bastoni's just awesome, isn't he? And so is Luke Aber. So, you know, if we were able to do that, I'm just worried that we've only got 16 days to get some of these things potentially done. That would make it a 10-10, really.
Yeah, pretty much. That'd make it close to a 10 for me as well. Where are you with Mohamed? Where are you with Diaz situation? Are you looking to sell him if we're going to bring in another attacker? And do you believe that we need a centre back more than a left back? Do you want a left back that can play centre back, or a centre back that can play left back, if that makes sense?
That seems to be the trend nowadays. If you look at there's Arsenal City, the left back is a centre back. Apart from, I don't know, because Calafiori is going to be playing left back for Arsenal,
yeah,
right?
Left sided centre back and possibly left back. Yeah.
Guardiola playing left back for City, so that just seems to be the trend at the moment. I love Andrew Robertson, but he has seen better days, and it is one of the positions that personally I think that we should upgrade. And if the current trend is of playing a centre back at left back, if that fits into like Slot's tactics and the way he wants to play, I think that is a position that we would eventually upgrade in. And also left centre back as well. Let's not forget, we've got one of the best centre backs in the world playing there at the moment, but he is 33. He's not going to be playing forever. So we need to have a long-term plan for that and, you know, future-proof that position the same way that we're future-proofing at goalkeeper with Mamardashvili. It is a bit concerning, though, that we are future-proofing that position because Alisson's only 31. So when this report came out, I was thinking, oh, what's going on here? Is Alisson not committed to stay long-term? Because goalkeepers, as we know, play until past 35, like almost close to 40. So is Alisson planning to leave next season or the season after? It's a bit concerning. But at the same time, it's good to see that we're future-proofing that position. What it says about Kelleher is another question. What's the future of Kelleher? What's his mindset like now that we're signing a goalkeeper? Kelleher's only young too. He's only, I think, like 25. So those positions that he's named are spot on. In terms of Diaz, I've never been Diaz's biggest fan. And I think we've had this conversation before, Grizz. I think that is definitely a position that we need to upgrade. When we had the graphic up before of the starting 11, well, close enough to the starting 11, personally, I wouldn't even play Diaz. It would be Gakpo for me. I just don't think Diaz is effective. He doesn't provide too much. It's a funny one with Diaz because he's got everything that you would want necessarily, like for the left wing, but the guy is just not effective. He's not going to get us the goals, the assists. He's not getting himself into the positions that we need to. And my bro here just mentioned a very good point earlier, saying he's the successor to Mane, and Mane was Mr. Effective Efficiency King. He was a complete monster on that left wing. But personally, I think there is we had a discussion about this. I think during the end of the season, or maybe just after the end of the season, Grizz, when we was watching different left wingers that were available, and one of them that really stood out to us was Anthony Gordon. And like
we said it clearly and explicitly.
We did, yeah. And I've always been a fan of Anthony Gordon. Every time we've played against him, he's scary. Even when at Everton, you could see that he's raw, but he's got that explosive pace. He's very direct. He's very effective. He's always in the right position. That he just screams Liverpool Football Club, and he would be perfect in that left wing position for me. The only drawback that I used to have back then, Grizz, was the Everton connection and whatnot. But I wasn't aware that he's such a big, massive Liverpool fan.
Yeah.
he's red through and through. So he's probably jumping at the bit to play for Liverpool. I thought this summer when I heard those reports of Anthony Gordon and we're potentially going to sign him, I thought absolutely beautiful. That is perfect. Diaz can go to Barcelona or whatever, cash in on him, get like 60, 70 million, replace him with Anthony Gordon. And then you got Gordon on one side with explosive pace, effective as anything. Salah on the other side is looking rejuvenated over the preseason. And then potentially and hopefully, inshallah, a fully fit Jota for the full season. That is a front three that you pay a lot of money to watch week in, week out, for me personally. But obviously, it looks like the needle hasn't moved. We haven't got Gordon. Diaz is staying. We'll see how Diaz does. Listen, he's a good player. He's got the crest on his chest. I'm going to support him through and through. But he needs to be more effective this season. We need more goals. We need more assists. We don't want this constant running down the line and doing little silky, cutting back, going backwards, and then doing silky, then running. You're just doing nothing.
He's like one of those guys. You know, we all got that in it. We all play 7-a-side, or we played 5-a-side, 6-a-side. You know, we all got that one guy that we pick in the team, right? And he's just doing his thing in the corner, impressing the crowd and the fans. Again, because he's doing mad shit. Yeah. And we're saying, yo, we need to score goals. Yeah, we need to do something. But he's in his own world,
literally.
And the people are saying, yo, and they're hyping him up. It seems to be Luis Diaz. And where are you with the Luis Diaz chat?
I'm on the opposite side, man.
Okay, that's what I like to see. Difference of opinions. Let's go.
But here's my thing, right? Shout out to Savage, because he did a comparison of the top teams last season. So like Arsenal, teams finish above us in terms of the left wing position. If it's goals you're asking for, GA from your winger, he had more than those wingers. So you know, Martinelli's, your Grealish's, he did. He finished on more numbers than they did. So if it was a numbers thing, he had more numbers than they did. If it's like a playing style preference, that's totally fine. But last season we went more direct, which means we ended up just knocking it into the corner. He then chased it down. We had to wait for all of the other players to then chop and be there. So I feel like some of the dislikes and in terms of how he plays and what he does, that's from the old regime and the old way of playing. I feel like now when watching him against Seville, and I know it's only 60 minutes I think he got in the game, but you could clearly see there's a difference. We're building up from more centrally, which means we're not just knocking it into those spaces. He then runs it down, and that's what you're saying, the skill, cut back, skill. He doesn't need to do that now. Now he's running on to the end of stuff. And that's where you saw a beautifully worked goal. He was in there and he got that goal. Then the second one, he was there for another tap-in, because we're not just knocking it hopelessly. We're playing exactly what you said at the start of the stream. When we play it from the goalkeeper into the midfielder, knocks it into the 10, the winger goes round, and then he's round the end just trying to get a tap-in. So I think like we need to clean slate for him. Listen, you can dislike him, you can like him, that's down to you. That's the opinions. But I think everyone has to get a clean slate. He's a very good footballer. I think he's gonna do really well this season. With the Anthony Gordon thing you mentioned, I looked at him and going, one season, I'm not a big fan of him. I think he's got great speed and whatever, but yeah, the standards goes up when you're here. Like the team is not going to be built around him. You will come into a team where you've got a Mo Salah, you've got a Jota, Darwin Nunez, you've got Diaz, you've got Cody Gap. There's so many more players in there that the limelight isn't let's go to you all the time, Gordon. He has to then be a part of a team and a system to build. So
yeah. it looks like we've got one in the Gordon camp and Diaz okay to be sold. We've got one vehemently in the opposite camp. Aaron, even though it's your debut, you have the casting vote.
I would keep him. I totally hear Mo's point, and I agree with it, because he did frustrate the hell out of me at times. Just like sometimes just cross the ball or just shoot. Like don't take that extra person on or do whatever it needs to be. But actually, coming on to End's point, pre-injury when we were more direct and we had that front three of Mane, Salah, and Diaz, that was about as ruthless as bar the Bobby Firmino one. That's about as ruthless as I've seen our front three for a long time.
Yeah, he was special. Before his injury, he was just kicking into real gear. I was at the game against Arsenal when, was it Partey that done him?
Yeah.
I was at that game, and he was terrorizing Arsenal. I think it was Ben White on the day that was a fullback. He was having a storming start to that season, I remember.
And we changed the way that we played from the time that he came to the years afterwards. We actually changed towards this inverted side of things, and that actually impacted him. Exactly what Ed said. I think we were lumping it up towards his side because he was the only one, bar Nunez, that was running in behind, and that was the release for us. Whereas I see these third man runs and things like that now, I think that would give him some space. And then there's another point about Gordon. I feel like he's at that point of that Mane just at Southampton. He's about to explode somewhere, whether that's at Newcastle or he's at a bigger club. And there's no disrespect to Newcastle because they are a big club, but a more club that's used to being in the top four, etc. Then I think he would be. He's the closest thing that I've seen for a long time that reminds me of like the efficiency of Mane. Like he's just got that raw pace, and that pace scares everyone, no matter who you are. You could be the best defender in the world. Pace does worry you, apart from when Van Dijk was at his peak because he was just a joke. But
he's got that nasty little streak in him as well, hasn't he, guys? That we all like in our players. We don't like him in opposition. Like we hate him, we pick it out, but we want nasty. That got that little needle, you know. We need more of those. I wish Gakpo had that, for example, guys. I don't know what you guys think. You know, I wish.
Could we add Gordon? So I'd rather us add Gordon to the mix. Diaz probably goes over to the right-hand side, just for an example. So you've got Mo Salah, Diaz, Gakpo, Gordon. I don't think there's an argument.
We can't have 6 forwards, though.
I know, but you know, we got Champions League, League Cup, FA Cup, rotation. Keep fresh legs. Man City does it really, really well. They put certain players on the bench when they don't need them, and then put on. We need the quality to be I'd say the same with a drop-off. We don't need a massive when we make these subs.
And if we were Chelsea, then yeah, but we're not. So it's not going to happen, mate.
Here's the thing. If we sell one, we still don't fix the right-hand side unless there's a play that we're gonna. But that's what I mean. We can, you know, solve the issue on the right-hand side. Diaz, you can play there. We saw that last season. Had a few good games.
I personally, I like him on the right.
Yeah,
I like him on the right a lot. Honestly, I think he's quite effective on the right. He knows his mission. He's actually very difficult to stop. Like if you give him a mission, if you give him a top, if he knows his task, I've got to beat him, get to the byline and cross it or shoot. I think he's quite unstoppable like that. When he's on the left, he has to make decisions. He has to cut in, then he has to decide, am I going to play it square? Am I going to go back out to the fullback again? Am I going to try to play a through ball? Or am I going to shoot? He has 4 options. And I think those 4 options that he has, he just goes through them again and again and again in his head without choosing one. You know what I mean? That's what I sometimes comes across. I think he's a fantastic talent. Gakpo hasn't got that ability or talent, but I think Gakpo has the efficiency. I think Gakpo's a proper shooter, if you know what I mean. Like I've discussed his ability to shoot without much of a backlift very quickly and efficiently. And then we've got the guy that we haven't discussed much, Nunez. You know, we have to decide. This is a make or break season for him as well, guys. Now I know you guys are all laughing and whatever, but I'm taking it seriously. I'm not laughing. You guys can laugh. This is our record attacker, record striker, record fee. Yeah, record fee actually. 80 million euro. Is that more than 75 million pound or same? Roughly same. It's make or break for Darwin Nunez. I don't think he starts the first game, like we said. Let me try and bring up that caption again. I don't think he starts the first game. I think Jota starts that first game. Obviously, injury doubts. Where we with Nunez, Mohammed? Have you changed your mind anything about Nunez since we last spoke?
No, it's still the same view, but 100% what you just said. It really is make or break this season for me. For him, sorry. I think. Nunez. It's so annoying because
no, but he deserves a fresh start as well, though, right? If we're saying Diaz, Enzo's saying Diaz starts, deserves a fresh start, right?
Yeah. As En said previously about Diaz, he deserves a new start. So does Nunez. Last season, when the season began, he wasn't starting for Liverpool. He came off the bench against Newcastle, scored those 2 goals, and then he was playing well for a few games, and then the decline happened again. I think he needs to really Slot needs to train him and talk to him and coach him and just develop him as much as he can He doesn't have to start straight away. We've got Jota. We know Jota is effective. We know Jota's going to get us goals. But it really is Nunez this season, man. I'm hoping and praying. And I just really hope that he can explode. He can score those chances that he keeps getting every season that he, previous season that he kept on missing. He's got everything. He's always in the right position as well. Nunez is just, it's frustrating. Him and Diaz, they're both frustrating because there's a really good player there, but they're just not doing it. They're not effective enough. They're not
efficient enough.
Efficient.
We just missed chance after chance, didn't we?
But with Nunez's case, it's not just chance after chance. It's a ridiculous amount of chances to the point where it's just complete head loss. Like, we'll see how it goes for him this season. We just really have to hope and pray that Slot can get something out of him. And do you know what? Hopefully it works out. He's our most expensive player in history, our record transfer. We can't just get rid of him in the summer and just say, oh, we give up on you. Because there is a player in there and someone will eventually get the best out of Nunez. Let's just hope the person that gets the best out of Nunez is the Liverpool manager and he's wearing a red shirt. So head for him.
Aaron, your views on, before we move the conversation?
I'm a Nunez fan. Yeah,
okay.
Sorry. I'm a Nunez fan. And the reason being is when he came to Liverpool, he wasn't really typically the type of striker that we needed, if we're being really honest with ourselves. When he played against us against Benfica, I don't think any one of us didn't come away from that game and thinking, wow, we need to buy this player. He's an absolute bully. He's a menace. He's horrid. And his shooting was so accurate. He was like, oh, my God, every time he shoots, he's going to score. When I look at him and I look at his most successful period at Benfica and I look at him for Uruguay, he's used to having someone more closer to him. Whether that be a 10 or whether that be another strike partner, but especially for Benfica, was it Rafa Silva? I think it was just like running in and around and off of him.
Yeah.
In this graphic here, Szoboszlai being there, I think is going to help him. Key. I actually genuinely think it will help him, and I think it will be key for him because he's going to occupy a space that's almost going to. We were almost going to tell him to be within the width of the box. It's the way I see it, the way that I've seen Slot talk to his strikers and so forth. So I think actually that might get him in. Not worried about running into the wings as much and do those type of things. He'll actually be in the right place at the right time and hopefully can take a breath just before he shoots. Because I think that's all he needs sometimes. Just needs to just have that ice running through his veins and then it will just go in. And I think we're all agreed though. I can say this till I'm 50 years old. At some point he's got to start doing it, otherwise he's going to get sold. So it's I've never seen a player that gets into that many positions and that is able to strike the post or hit the bar that many times. It's outrageous.
So we've got one, not the greatest Nunez fan. We've got one who is a Nunez fan. Enz, you get the call on this one.
Hey, I'm gonna have to side with the Nunez side, man. Do you know? Okay, I'll put it to you this way. I think it's more. I feel like players are ready to shoot players down fans, I should say, are ready to shoot players down so quickly. Is he pleasing on the eye? No, not in terms of, stylistically, but he scored quite a few goals and he got a few assists. And I know people are going to say some of these are in the Europa League and you can't pick and choose where you're going to score. He won us a few games. Did he cost us a few games? Possibly, if you can go back over the games across the season. But I think collectively we did. 31 goal contribution as a forward, or how Klopp was utilising him. And that's not to knock the tap-ins that he should have scored and the clear-cut chances. But if we can tailor it and find the best way to, put him in the correct position. I had the thing where I said I felt like our chance creation last season was sporadic. I couldn't tell when those opportunities were coming. It might have been a Travella pass from Mo, or some knockdown skills all over the place. I feel like with a structure and how I'm looking at how the manager's been playing it in pre-season, I feel like if the play calls for maybe a back post run, a near post run, drop back and receive it, I feel like if you tell him those are the three things I need you to do, go here when we get it on the right-hand side, go here when we get it on the left-hand side, when the 10 gets it, make this run, I think you'll see a better Nunez. But we have to wait and see. But I think give him a clean slate, man. 31 goal contributions, and we don't think that's good enough. I don't know. There's not many players in the league that got that, or I say many players around the world even contribute to that.
Can I just come in quickly? And you make some very valid points. He never scored. I think he scored one goal in the last 4 months in the Premier League. when we're in a title race.
What's the context? You're going to put the context on it. Most of those games he was on the bench as well, wasn't he?
He wasn't. He was starting those games. He was on the only goal that he scored was that ricochet against Sheffield United at Anfield. And he just went on a spell where he just wasn't scoring goals and he was missing chances. And then he got dropped the final 4 or 5 games and he wasn't playing. The thing is with Nunez, you said that if we teach him how to make certain runs and get into certain positions.
It's not teaching. I just think if the system aligns and we make it simple for him, simplify it. In terms of a pass from Mo or you're making runs and you're not getting the ball. And I saw that a lot last season. A lot of frustration.
I see where you're coming from because there was a bit of a mixed bag last season where the chances were coming from. But the thing is, he was in those positions last season. He was getting those chances. He had the chance to score all these goals, but unfortunately, he never. Maybe it's just unlucky. Maybe it's his decision making's not the best. Maybe he just needs a lot of psychological help potentially. Maybe he just needs to calm down a little bit and relax. Michael Owen made a brilliant point when he scored that goal against Brentford with the chip. To this day, I've never seen a more ludicrous goal. That is the hardest finish you could potentially do. It looked amazing. It was fantastic, beautiful. What a goal. But what is going through your mind when you think that is the best way I'm going to score this goal? And last season, he's been in those situations a few times. There's a game, I can't remember when it was. Well, probably more than just one time this happened, but the goalkeeper comes out, it's Nunez. Instead of going around him, he just kicks the ball directly at the goalkeeper. When he's got so much yard behind the goalkeeper to just knock it around them and he's got an open goal. Even with the open goal, he'll still miss it. He did that in the Europa League when he knocked it past the goalkeeper and he still missed it with an open goal. We've seen that he gets into these positions. He has these opportunities. He's got the chances. All I'm saying is I hope and pray that these elements can be taken out of his game and he can be more effective. But I'm not too worried because we've got someone in the squad right now. Give him those chances. He's scoring 30 goals a season, and that's Diogo Jota. And let's just hope and pray that he can stay fit for the full season.
Do you think there's an element, Aaron, I know you want to come in. Do you think there's an element of truth or based on this? Vikram says if Nunez was a 20 million striker, then we'd have sacked him off a long time ago. But because we spent so much on him, it's kind of an obligation to give him more chances. Let's be real, he ain't the one.
For me, no. Well, sorry, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go on. You go ahead, and I'll jump in after.
No, I just wanted to kind of. I don't think so. I don't think it has nothing to do with the actual price tag. I think it's more to do with what the fans prefer as a striker. There's other players out there stylistically you're going to love more than what you like Nunez, but there's only a handful that's scoring or assisting the type of numbers he's doing. So I think you have to kind of choose what you want. You want someone looking good on the eye, or do you want someone that's going to score some goals? And I'm not saying he's the best. Can we improve on him? 110%. But that's why I said this is this season. He has to take this season now. And if he doesn't, thank you very much, sir, but we have to see you later. But I don't think he has nothing to do with the price tag.
Aaron?
Well, that kind of comes on to my question, actually. There's 2 points to this stuff. The first thing is we've got some of the best natural finishers in that ambassador role that I've ever seen in my life. Robbie Fowler was my hero, and he made me fall in love with shooting the ball and scoring and so forth. Surely at some point, and this always baffles me, surely at some point the club goes to one of him or Rushy and go, just spend some time with him. Just walk him through just the decision-making process just before he's about to pull the trigger. There's a great story, actually. I'm going to go off a piece. There's a great story about Ronaldo. I know it's our rivals and all the rest of it, but it just shows you the mentality of the boy. He goes to Van der Sar. He goes, I want to take shots against you. Van der Sar's, they finished training, by the way. This is at the end of training. And Van der Sar goes, no, I want to go home. And he keeps going up to him. He goes, no, I'm not going against anyone else. I want to go against you. Van der Sar turns around and says, go against the reserve goalkeeper. I'm going home. Ronaldo turns around and says to him, he goes, you're arguably one of the best in the world right now. If I want to be the best in the world, I've got to score past you. And that's the kind of thing I think is missing from him. I think he needs to have that aggression in his mind and go, right.
Wait. Don't about aggression. I think he needs to tone down on the aggression. Aaron, man, come on. You're asking for war, man. If you're asking him for more aggression, bro.
Well, yeah, wrong word, definitely. But
I think he needs to calm down.
And I think we've got Alisson. Surely, if he's better than me at football, no doubt about that. Obviously, that's why he's there. But he's got to be looking at Alisson and thinking, if I can put 15 past you out of 30 shots, just using a random ratio, I'm pretty more sure I'm going to score against most of the strikers in those scenarios. Why is that not happening? But then it kind of comes on to the next question. He's in the right space. He's in the right time. He's hitting the shots, and he's probably hitting the post. Because I remember Klopp saying something along the lines of, if you see the amount of goals he scores in training, you'd think this guy's a different beast. So what would be a successful season for Nunez? What are we expecting from him, goals and assist wise?
Simple for me. More league goals. Like Mo says, you know, someone said 1 goal in the last 16 games. That's just not good enough, guys. It's not. I'm a massive supporter of Liverpool players, whether I rate them or I don't. I always say this. You don't have to rate every single player in your squad, in your team. You don't have to rate them. But if you call yourself a supporter, you have to support them, or call yourself a fan. You're a fan and you're a casual fan or whatever, and you like some players and you support them. You don't like them players and you just want toxicity towards them. You know what I mean? Not mentioning no names in the chat who have just carried on their toxicity all night. But it is what it is. If you don't like someone, you know, that's fine. You don't have to rate them. But if you're a supporter by name, then you have to support by nature as well. That's the key element. I'm not a Nunez fan. I've said it from day one. I was never a Nunez fan. When I found out, the rumors were that he's going Man United, I was giving Man United players fans stick. Oh, you're buying an absolute bum. Trust me, he's a bum. This and that. And then lo and behold, you know what I mean? You have to change your tune. You know what I mean? But he's not my style of striker. He's not my ideal type of striker. But as long as he's effective and he's good for Liverpool, I don't care about my feelings, my ego, my knowledge of football. My knowledge of football is in the mud. I'm no one. As long as he scores goals for Liverpool, that's what I want. And I hear you to Aaron and Enz. I hear you to, but it's simple. The formula is simple this season. Me and Mohammed, we will come back to the conversation we've used to in, let's say, December. He needs to be on double figures by December, man. Like in all competitions. That's fair. In all competitions. He needs to score goals because he's a chance magnet.
Yeah.
What are you going to say?
You know what? It's as much as me and Enz are saying we love Nunez. On the spot now, all 4 of us. Jota's fit, Nunez is fit. Who are you picking?
No, Jota starts Spurs. That's not even a question.
Jota of adults.
Yeah. That's my point. It's true, but
There we go.
But the problem is, but this is where I would never sell Jota, even though he's got an appalling record in terms of fitness, right? Because as long as we've got someone else hungry, eager to capitalize, it could be Nunez, right, guys?
Yep.
On the back of last season, then the summer, then the turmoil, then the doubts. Nunez should be coming back to training and coming up to the games like, Diogo, I love you. You're my teammate. We're on the same team and everything. But you lose your place, I'm taking it away from you. Do you get it? Like if Jota gets injured, like so many people are saying Jota's going to get injured by game week 5 anyway. Ha 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 ha. You know what I mean?
Rely on Nunez anyway. So
no, but we as long as we've got a hungry Gakpo, a hungry Nunez to step in. This is where Enz, I agree with you. It's all about having the quota of attackers so you can rotate. The Nunez debate, we know the Nunez debate just goes on and on and on. We've gone over time, man. The conversation has flown. Let me just go through the last couple of super chats that we need to go through. Yo, what's good? Big up is in the building. Yo, what's good, bro? He says, Grav is fine against certain teams, but we have to control the game by actually taking care of the ball to make up for his deficiencies. But I think that's what he's been played there for his ability to control the ball and keep the ball. I think him and Curtis Jones, obviously, Enza's saying that Curtis Jones keeps it too much sometimes, but they're both very good at protecting the ball. I'd say, controversial maybe, I'd say they're better than McAllister at protecting the ball. Of course, McAllister's the better player. But in terms of just protecting the ball, I think they're both very good at it. Would love to see more aggression. I think we mentioned that, Fish says. Yeah, is it aggression? Yeah. Feistiness, just be more nasty. Do you know? I think there's a huge player in there if he can bring that to his game. Big up Manu Kone is 20M. Would you guys sign him? Anybody want to comment on Manu Kone from Borussia Mönchengladbach?
I would, but I haven't seen or stayed track of him since last season, so I don't know what he's up to. But I would.
The same.
Same. Sorry, bro. Thanks for the super chat, but we can't help you there. We're casuals, man. We're casuals. Big up the panel. Hassan says, big up yourself, my bro. Thank you for the super chat. We definitely requires left players for the first 11. Left wing, DM, and a left back. I can see us getting 1 or 2 in. Who do you guys think they realistically go for now, and will they bring anyone in? Realistically, guys, I don't think anyone knows what's going on now, because I think they've realized they've messed this one up a bit. Like, it's a bad look, especially after the Caicedo business. But again, you know, I heard James Pearce on BNR, my very good friend's playback channel today. James Pearce was saying it's very difficult to blame anyone in this situation. Like, Richard Hughes done all he can. He was given the indication that he's ready to change and sign, and then just done a last-minute bottle job, like he done against Bayern, Barcelona, Man United, and Arsenal. All those teams wanted him. So, you know, but I agree with you. I think we need left wing. We will split. DM, we all agree, and I think left back we all agree as well, right? I think we all agree left back as well. Mm-hmm. My shout for left back would be Ayet Nouri. My shout for left centre back would be Lukeba of Leipzig. Alisson Becker says, blink 3 times, Grizz, if Trent is close to a new contract. And he says, I can play for 6 more years, by the way. Big up, Alisson. I wish you could. I hope you could. I fear you won't. Yo was good since in another super chat says, Diaz now has a style that fits him. This was what Enzo was talking about. No offense to Klopp. Let's see how he fares, is my opinion. Gordon makes no sense because he's not a winger that holds width, in my opinion. Too much focus on goals and assists instead of system. We didn't say that when we had Mane, lads. We didn't say that when we had Sadio Mane. Sadio Mane was a he was not a touchline winger. Sadio didn't hold width all the time. That was Mohamed Salah's job. And then to cut in at this right time. Sadio was an inverted inverted winger, would track back. Sadio was 2-3 players rolling to one. Looks like we have some news from Kicker. Someone wants to bring up today. Bayer Leverkusen want to sign Van den Berg, who was on loan at Mainz, and should Odilon Kosunu leave the club this summer. Liverpool demand 20 million. Yeah, we didn't touch on Van den Berg. Again, one of the squad players that's possibly for sale as well. Mohamed, what are you doing with Van den Berg? You keeping him? It seems like Joe Gomez is staying. So we got Gomez, Konate, Verge, Kwanzaa. What are you doing with Van den Berg?
4 very good centre backs. If the money's right, I'll sell Sepp Van den Berg. Yeah. What's it being quoted at? Like 20 mil, 25 mil?
We won't get 20 million. Realistically, we're probably going to get around 15 million. Are you taking that?
15 million. The thing is, we know what Konate is like with his injury record.
Yeah.
He could probably get injured at any given moment, and then we're down to 3. Let's not forget Joe Gomez doesn't have the best injury record too. Apart from last season, he doesn't have the best injury record.
And he doesn't have too much memory of playing at centre-back.
He doesn't. That's a very good point too.
Whole season he played fullback. Whole season.
Yeah. So technically, there could be a world that we already have 2 centre backs, and we're back to Nat Phillips and Reece Williams. Just putting it out there. If I had to pick between Nat Phillips, Reece Williams, Van den Berg, I'm picking Van den Berg. But I don't know if it's fair on the lad. Clearly, he had a great season at Bundesliga last year. He might want to leave and play first-team football regularly. For a team like Bayer Leverkusen that's going to be in the Champions League, defending Bundesliga champions, wow, that's a huge move for him. So who are we to stand in his way? But if he was to go, we would need to. I personally think we should replace him and bring someone else in. But then at the same time, I don't know. It's a rock and a hard place because having 5 centre backs is a lot. But at the same time, it's not when you look at it, because we've got a few injury-prone players and we're going to be playing a lot of football next season.
Fair enough. Very, very quickly, Aaron and Enz Van den Berg, 15 to 17 million, let's say.
I think for that money, you can't really not sell him. Looking at the way that our model's going at the moment, it doesn't make sense to keep him around as a fifth choice centre-back. I think Mo said it perfectly. The only concern that we have is we have the trauma of what happened in that season where all of our defenders went missing. And fair play to the boys that did it, but we don't want to be back in that position. So I think if he does goes with my blessing. Hopefully we could do something with a sell-on clause or a buyback clause or something like that as well, because I do think he's got potential to be pretty decent. But we do need another one if he goes. That's pretty certain. Maybe that is the start of that happening potentially.
Simple for me. If you're not replacing him, then keep him. I think we have to, especially with Ibu's track record of being injured.
Yeah.
Hopefully, that's behind him. Gomez, as you said, I said earlier, he hasn't played that centre back pretty consistently for at least 2 years now.
I think he had that. Do you remember? Am I right in saying? Okay, we know he had that notoriously disastrous against Napoli.
Yeah,
but that was the season before, wasn't it?
Mm.
And I think he played in a League Cup game couple of times at centre back. So
Last year he definitely did. I remember him being in there for a couple of games. I think he was
not much though.
Yeah.
So an injury-prone player possibly, and then you've got someone that hasn't been in the role for a while. Yeah, you have to keep him or sell or get someone else in if you're going to sell him.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mo. Does Konate it's up for debate? Does Konate not being first choice protect him a little bit?
Not really, because to be fair, the system, fingers crossed, slightly changed. I'm looking at sprints per game, and he was doing a lot of sprinting and covering that right-hand side. With the way that we want to play and having the right back pretty much stay at right back, apart from certain moments, less sprints, maybe less work on the muscles, and then maybe he doesn't get the injuries. There's just a few times where it was just him going to cover, and then he ends up getting a knock. He's trying to slide to win the ball. It's just silly things, but fingers crossed.
Mo, you was going to say something?
Yeah, I've got 2 questions for the panel. Quick questions. First, I think we're all in agreement. If Vandenberg, we do sell him, we need to bring someone else in. Who would we buy to be a 5th choice centre back? Like, who would be happy with that position? I've seen names like Bastoni floating about and Lukaber. Bastoni's first name on the team sheet for Inter Milan.
One of the best centre backs in world football.
Yeah.
Ain't no way he's coming to Liverpool to sit bench, or not even bench, maybe in reserves. So we need to be very smart with that. That's my first question. And my second question is, do we all unanimously agree that Quansah is ahead of Konate now? Like, is that just common knowledge that Quansah is first choice ahead of
Can I go
Konate?
first in this? Because I asked you guys the question, and I want to go first in this because Ibu's my guy.
I love Ibu too.
Ibu is so my guy. So I love Ibu. Personality, character. It also helps that I'm in a WhatsApp group with him. But I love him to bits, man. He's he's a legend. The players love him, the coaches love him. And let's not beat around the bush. He was man of the match in that Champions League run in that final as well. He was a beast on his day. On his day, he's world class.
Yeah.
The injuries have set him back a little bit. And Quansah is, I think, guys, Quansah will go down as, I'm telling you, Quansah is going to go down as elite. But by the time Gerald Quansah is finished his career, God willing, no injuries curtail his career or anything like that, man. This kid is, and he's still a kid, he's going to go down as one of the greatest Premier League defenders. I'm so adamant. So to answer your question, Mohammed, I'll get out there. I think, as much as it hurts me, Quansah is ahead. Very used to.
Do you know what? He's ahead, but I believe if Ibu was back in pre-season at the same time, it would have been a difficult choice. But Quansah hasn't really put a foot wrong. So the manager's looking at him going, I've paired you up with so many different people. You know, him and Sepp and then Nat Phillips and all these guys. And he's just shine, bro. He's so aggressive. He wins everything in the air now.
I love his aggressiveness. He's got that nasty little streak in him where, you know, like I used to coach a Sunday league team, and I know you're a coach as well, and you know what we used to tell defenders, or most coaches tell defenders, make sure you get that tackle him and let him know, let him feel that tackle. He does them kind of tackles.
Yeah, I've seen the strikers look up at him, and I'm like, that's what they used to do to Virgil. They're like, oh my days, he's hit me again.
Yeah.
So he starts. Let's see.
Aaron?
Similar to you guys, I love Ibu, and I think he's arguably our best defender when he's fully fit and firing. But Jarrell's done nothing wrong. You know what? He has done a couple of things wrong, but his reaction has been exemplary. Like, he's made a mistake, and it's been a howler, that one against United for Fernandes. But the rest of the game, he was probably our best defender, and I think that's the biggest compliment you can give him. None of us were raving about him before the start of last year. The guy came in and was an absolute monster the whole season.
Okay. Me and Mohammed do you remember the conversations we had last summer? Like, who's the find of the season, Bradley or Kwanzaa? And it's like, Bradley, Bradley was sensational as well. Like, literally, is there a case of Bradley starting?
They could draw. There potentially is.
The two of them, honestly, in pre-season, there's something different about it. You can see that there's that hunger, desire. There's that. The shoulders are now up and back, and their chest is out.
They believe they can play now, don't they? They believe they're first-team players.
I think that's why Trent has come back a bit leaner, because last season he kind of was a bit bulked up. I think Trent has come back a bit leaner because he's this kid can go up and down, and then goes into the midfield and can play. Nah. He needs to know I'm the guy, and I'm Trent, and I'm the vice. He needs to know. So Trent's come back a bit leaner, a bit more. That's why, in that Seville game, Trent was on. Yeah, he was on.
Winslow says about my take on Gerald Kwanzaa. Why do you? So in effect, Winslow's saying, why do you speak your opinion on your own show, on your own channel? That's what Winslow's telling me.
Winslow's a weirdo. But to be fair, with Kwanzaa as
well,
ask
me, why do I talk about my own? Sorry, go on. Sorry, no.
Yeah, that guy's weird. But one person who's not weird is Kwanzaa. As Aaron just said, this time last year, we didn't know who he was. Like, nobody really knew who he was. We just seen him in pre-season. Oh, there's a guy called Gerald Kwanzaa, whatever. But it's the mentality that is just, wow, it's beautiful. There was, at one point, we didn't know who he was. And then he was like, oh, all due respect to Matip, but I'm coming for your position.
Yeah, do you remember?
He takes Matip's position. In his mind, he might not say it out loud. But he's
probably condolences.
Yeah, exactly. In his mind, he's probably thinking, Ibu, you're next. Virgil, you're next. But he's not going to. He probably didn't say that out loud. I absolutely love that mentality. He's got that winner's mentality. He's probably a leader as well. If you've got a mentality like that, you've got a head like that on your shoulders at this age, you're probably a leader. It's somebody. Oh, I'm so high on this kid. I think he's gonna be insanely good, and it hurts because I love Ibu. As Grizz said, I love Ibu. Ibu's incredible. What a football player. But man, Gerald Kwanzaa is.
But this is it though. But you was asking, Mo. It was your question actually about how do we bring in another centre back and who's going to be happy to be 4th / 5th choice. We're going to have to be ruthless at some stage. Virgil, how long will Virgil be elite? Like, okay, another conversation. I've got to start the big 6 in 10 minutes. There's another. Gerald was Arj was agreeing with what you was actually saying. Gerald has the mentality to be elite. You can see it, confidence running through his veins. K-Max says Kwanzaa was asking for photos of VVD's positioning, his committed and his mental ambition. Absolutely spot on. Guys, wow, brilliant support. 500 of you still in here. I don't know how many likes we're on. We should be on 300 likes, man. We're looking for that kind of ratio. I hope you enjoyed today's show. Of course, Mohammed, we'll be catching up very soon. Aaron, hope you enjoyed your debut. We enjoyed you. And Enz, we're going to carry on talking. We're going to carry on working as well. By the way, go and check out Enz's channel. And shout your channel, man. Put it in the chat, man. Put it in the chat so people know.
Let's see if I can while I'm
okay.
One of your mods, Quasi's in there. Quasi, drop my channel there for me, please.
Yeah, if Quasi, go and drop Enz's channel in the chat, man. But
drop your Twitter too, Enz. I'll follow you on there.
Yeah, same.
Aaron too. Aaron, yeah. Drop your.
There you go, man. Look at that. The community, man, bringing communities together. Look at this, guys.
Yeah, mine is right now Abdi23. So yeah, hit me up, man.
So just listen, I started the YouTube thing because I wanted to give my own opinion, and I was online and feel like people weren't talking about the game in the right way. So I thought I'd come and have a go at it, man. And the community that we're growing over that side is amazing. And the guy that helped me out, Savage, and Zabiri helps me out as well, and Calvin and the rest of the guys. But yeah, massive, man. I enjoy it, man. I enjoy talking about football, and I enjoy speaking to you guys as well, man.
Exactly. And look at that. But people in the chat that are saying, look how many different opinions we had. Yeah, at any stage we get toxic or feel the need to slag each other. We all pretty much had different opinions, actually. Most opinions were split. We didn't all sit there agreeing with everyone and make it one of those shows where, yeah, you're right, nodding like the Churchill dog. You know what I mean? And the Churchill, yeah, just.
And can I say also, I haven't met Enz and Aaron before, but both of your football knowledge is very high, very well spoken to. Lads, all the best.
We enjoyed it, man. We enjoyed it. Absolutely. Guys, smash a like on your app, subscribe if you haven't. Make sure you go and check out these guys as well. You'll be seeing more of these guys, hopefully, on my channel. PID, man, where you been? You got to smash the likes before you go, people. PID is in the building as well. And yeah, we'll be back. Hopefully, I'll be doing something. I'm pretty much doing something every day, man. The work rate is insane. I've upped my levels, people. But only with your love and support can I go even further. So keep it going. Thank you once again, Enz, Aaron, and of course, Mohammed. Peace out. Take care. Have a blessed night, everyone.
Boy.